Okay, uh, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Do Your Own Research podcast show. So, today I'm honored to have Joseph from Investa Farm, but I'll just let him introduce himself and what Investa Farm is all about. Then we'll kick off a really informative conversation on how smallholders farmers relate to Web3, blockchain, and the whole narrative of tokenization. So, yeah, welcome and please introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. So my name is Joseph Kamau. I'm here representing Investa Farm. So Investa Farm is a peer-to-peer lending platform whose goal is to provide competitive, low interest loans to farmers by connecting them directly to global stablecoin holders. So my role at InvestaFarm is I am one of the directors, and I'm also the head of business development, growth, and partnerships. It's a pleasure to be here at the podcast.
Yeah, and uh, a while ago I was just talking about how, not even a while ago, there is a day I met Moses at a blockchain conference some time back, and I was just reminiscing how Investa Farm came into fruition. So I remember it seems like a long time ago, but it was just last year at hackathon, Polygon and Impact Plus hackathon, when the idea came about. So Moses and his team were another team, and then I was also part of the hackathon, but with a different team. So after the hackathon, they won, and what impressed me the most is that they didn't just stop there. They kept on growing Investa Farm up to what it is still up to what it is now. So Investa Farm right now is a startup, and yeah, today we'll just learn more about it from the team themselves. And yeah, so today we wanna discuss about a lot of stuff and how farmers relate to this whole new technology of blockchain and tokenization. So, uh, Joseph, could you please probably just take us through the reception of when you are probably conducting your, should I call them, businesses with the farmers, and do they really understand what blockchain is, or what usually happens whenever you carry out the activities?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, blockchain is a relatively new technology here in Kenya. In the world, it has existed for so many years, but I would say in Kenya, this is a time that it's actually being adopted by people, and people are just coming to learn about it. And we did not expect farmers to know, because you will find that the majority of farmers are actually are not that tech savvy. So um, this year has been an interesting year for us because we've had the opportunity to talk to so many farmers. We've had the opportunity to talk to so many potential and actual uh, customers, mostly through product showcases, expos, and just networking events, hackathons. Um, so at first, we had to learn the hard way, because I remember we used to just use the same messaging to address like all audiences. So if you're talking to farmers, we tell them about the technology, this is blockchain, and try to explain it to them. But we came to find out the hard way that once if someone doesn't really understand understand what you're telling them, they won't really be that interested in what you're trying to sell. So we had to change the messaging, and one strategy that we've been using is we have been so let's say we are talking to a group of farmers, we just tell them about the impact that this technology has on them. So we'll mention that we'll tell them that do you know that there's actually a way you can get a competitive loan or just a low interest loan, and it's through Investa Farm. And then when we talk to like now tech savvy people, e.g., the lenders who own the digital currencies or the stable coins, that's when we'll be a bit more technical. Another strategy that we have been using is so on the platform, which I think is live right now. On the platform, we have a dashboard for agro stores. So this is when this is like we've figured out a way of reaching out to an agro store that's near the farmer and onboarding them onto the platform, and we train them and tell them that this is how the farmer will apply for the loan and all that. So the farmer just comes to the agro store, they say that they are applying for a specific loan, they give them the details, and the agro store will do all that for them. And then if let's say the farmer wanted the loan so that they could purchase some farm inputs or fertilizer, they will be given the fertilizer, and then we will settle the deal with the agro store. So that's how we made it easier for the farmers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think tapping into the, should I call it, liquidity that is available through these blockchain protocols is a cool niche. And I guess this brings us to probably the next sentiment, that is tokenization, and how smallholder farmers may benefit from tokenization of their farm produce. Because so before probably you answer that, I may also need to probably tell the viewers and probably anyone who is listening in what we actually mean by tokenization in Web3 and blockchain. Now, in the techie way, it just refers to probably a process of converting rights to an asset into digital tokens on the blockchain. So it's like giving the asset some value, but now on the blockchain, like digital token. So for instance, there's another project that I like, probably I'll use the example, Project Mocha. They're also doing something almost, well, they're also working with farming. So what they do, they tokenize the coffee farms. So if you have a coffee farm, you can actually tokenize the coffee farm, so you can own it digitally. So that's an example of what tokenization simply means. And to a more textbook definition, it involves representing real-world assets or rights digitally as tokens. So now these tokens can represent anything from tangible assets like real estate, in our case farm produce, or like coffee trees or whatever, to intangible assets like IP, intellectual properties, or shares, or even now the digital tokens. Now, maybe I can just dive into just two types of tokens, then we can now move on. There are the fungible ones and non-fungible ones. But yeah, we don't want to be super techy. Now, Joe, could you probably just take us through how smallholder farmers may benefit from now the tokenization that I've just tried to explain in a nutshell?
Yeah. Um, I think you've done a really great job at explaining what asset tokenization is. And one way smallholder farmers can benefit from it would be, so I'll mention that um, we have developed our own token. It's called iFarm token, and the use case. So how we actually using it is we're giving the farmers the ability to use this token as collateral for when they're applying for loans. So this is one big question that we've always been asked. Uh, uh, and what about collateral and all that and all that? So that's why we came up with the iFarm token. So they'll use it as collateral to secure the loans without like the traditional bank restrictions. So you can tokenize some certain farm asset and put it as collateral in case you default and or in case you're unable to repay back the loan. The tokens will be transferred to the person who lent you the money. Yeah.
So
So that's one way.
where is iFarm deployed, on which protocol?
Yeah, so on the internet computer protocol. So that's
Okay.
protocol of choice. Yeah.
So maybe I can also chip in a little bit. So smallhold farmers may benefit from such aspects as tokenization by, I think number one is access to funding. Tokenization now allows farmers to sell tokens representing their produce or assets, providing immediate capital for farm improvement. I think that's one way that these farmers may benefit. That's just from now my process of thought. Another one could be, the trilemma of blockchain. So the farmers can also benefit from the transparency nature of blockchain. So these can ensure each transaction is recorded, making supply chain transparent and verifiable. I think this can lead to fair pricing and consumer trust. So by tokenizing their farm produce, these are just my ideas. Maybe you've implemented them, maybe not, but according to the benefits of tokenization, this is another way that I think smallhold farmers may benefit from tokenization because, for instance, if I tokenize let me say my cattle, and I know that maybe my 3 bulls represent certain tokens. Now I can easily trace where these tokens have been sold or been lended to easily by following them on the blockchain. This is a very complex thing I'm saying, but those are some of the benefits that tokenization can offer to farmers. Maybe even market expansion. Farmers will now reach global expansion. So maybe I'm seated somewhere in Brazil. I was checking InvestaFarm website. Then I come across this farmer Joseph. He has tokenized his coffee tree, or maybe what else anything can be tokenized. Maybe he has a pig farm. He has tokenized some pigs. I can purchase it from Brazil. So you can see that alone has expanded these smallhold farmers' reach to as far as Brazil, Congo, maybe Mombasa, and the farmer is in Kitale. Yeah, so those are some of the benefits that farmers may get from tokenization. Do you want to talk about the risks involved, or
Yeah.
I should? talk about. Okay, we can
Mm,
delve into
yeah.
probably some of the risk associated with using tokens. Yeah.
Yeah, so some risks associated with using tokens, especially if they're at the early stages, I would say market fluctuations. So if the value of, let's say, the token drops, the collateral may not be able to cover the loan um, that had that had been given to the farmer. So, like the volatility of the token, that's actually quite risky. Something else, I would say, regulatory uncertainty. So, um, one of the biggest challenges that we have faced, and I'm sure most blockchain companies in Kenya are facing right now, are the laws around blockchain, and token-based collateral might not be clear and uh, well enforced. So that's another thing that might be a major risk to this. And then there's crop failure. So if farmers can't deliver the produce into, let's say, the token, then the farmer may actually, the lenders may also face some losses. Yeah. So those are some of the risks associated with using tokens as collateral.
Okay. So how
Yeah.
is Investa Farm ensuring that the whole tokenization process is probably secure, trustworthy to the farmers, because the team is pretty knowledgeable about blockchain, tech, and stuff. But as you said earlier, some farmers may not really know what all these things entail. So, how is Investa Farm ensuring this tokenization is secure?
Yeah. So as you mentioned previously, you said that the blockchain is very transparent, and it's very secure. So these tokens are stored on the blockchain. So the iFarm token is stored on the blockchain, and it ensures that there is transparency and trust. So there's not any room for any fishy business. And also the team is we are a team of very professional individuals, and have, I would say, integrity is at the core of what InvestaFarm stands for, and we do our best to make sure that everything we do is ethical, and um, we have the best interests of our farmers or our customers in general at heart. Yeah.
Maybe uh,
Um,
I heard you said you've really done a lot of what are they called, seminars and exhibitions. So I think that's also some of the ways that you people have really helped the farmers through education, through these through these exhibitions
Seminar.
and seminars. Yeah. And about the blockchain part, uh, I usually say don't trust, verify. So since you've written smart contracts, I believe smart contracts ensure and automate and even secure transactions. So properly audited smart contracts ensure that whatever instructions are in your smart contracts in relation to the farmers are a good way of protecting and securing smallholder farmers. So I believe your smart contracts are open source. Anyone can check them out and audit if they want, or
Yeah,
how.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's the whole essence of blockchain. Transparency. I like the way in blockchain and just blockchain. Um, there's this whole aspect of community building. So since their smart contracts are open source, anyone can chip in, improve it, and probably tell them. So, and even anyone who feels that these guys are not doing the correct thing can audit it and find out that maybe they are doing the correct thing. So those are some of the ways that Investa Farm is also ensuring the whole tokenization process is secure. uh, I believe you've also partnered a lot with so many people, so this, I guess, is also a good thing. And do you think tokenization has played a part in increasing liquidity for the farmers?
Yes, it has. Um, I'll mention a few ways. So there's that use case that I've been mentioning, and instant collateral. So farmers, so the our token, iFarm token, it allows farmers to get loans like quickly without having to wait for like lengthy processes, because they can like instantly tokenize some of their assets. So that's one of the benefits of using InvestaFarm. Uh, our processes are I would say, are quite quick. Our loan approval process is quite quick, because one of the other things that we're working on is we are working on an AI model that will help us like hasten the process, and also I would say make it more efficient and accurate. Yeah. And then another one would be, so, fractional access. So the iFarm token allows the lenders to support small portions of the collateral, making loans easier to distribute. Yeah. And then with this, also with asset tokenization, we've removed, with the use of, tokens, we've removed middlemen. So farmers actually deal directly with the lenders, and they get the funds faster. And you'll find that it's actually much cheaper by removing like the middlemen. Yeah, you find that it's cheaper to actually get the loan when you're dealing directly with someone, the one who's lending.
Are there some
Yeah.
probably real life examples that you've recorded on what you just said, like farmers directly accessing payments for their produce through Investa Farm?
Yeah, so earlier in the year, we had done like a small pilot test with a few users. I mentioned that we just released a version. It's a new version of the platform with a lot more features. So most of the year we've actually been building and gathering feedback. But early in the year we had done pilot tests, but I would say we were there actually. We were actually the ones who are lending, so we're dealing directly with a few farmers. So we give them some money, and I would say we're still observing and seeing. Um, we're observing and seeing how things will play out when it gets to the time when they'll have to pay back the loans.
Okay. Yeah, Investa Farm is very young. Just last year they were hackathon team. It seems like 10 years ago though. I think the blockchain years and human years are different scales. I guess just like I iterated before, tokenization also opens up new markets for smallhold farmers. I already talked about the global reach by giving the example of someone in Brazil, another one in Central, or someone in Kitale and another one in Mombasa. I think also like niche markets, like specialization in certain crops or practices can be more easily marketed through tokenization. A good example I talked about Project Mocha. They are specialized in coffee. So tokenizing that can just give them specific consumers and investment themes. And I believe InvestaFarm are putting out smallhold farmers in the maps out there. Uh, Joab, just wondering, uh, in your own view, or maybe in the investor farm view, how do you see how tokenization can impact the agricultural trade on global scale?
Yeah, so with the blockchain and the use of digital currencies, I think there's something usually, I would say it's a property of digital currencies. Uh, they are borderless, so they're not limited to a specific country. Just like how, let's say, you can only use Kenya shilling in Kenya and all that. So, with the use of digital currencies, as you've said, someone from Brazil, someone from America can actually um, like diversify their investment portfolio by lending their crypto, by lending their stable coins to farmers in Africa and let's say in Kenya. So maybe a farmer in Nigeria needs $1,000 to buy some farming boats to probably do some tea planting and all that. They can actually get access. They can through our platform. They can actually reach a lender in America who's interested in actually investing or in. So it's kind of like this person in America has their own tea farm in Kenya if they actually lend this money to them, because the money will be paid back with interest. So they've invested in tea, and then the tea in Kenya, once the farmer sells and gets some profits from it, can repay back the loan. Yeah. And also this the use of the token or and digital currencies, I guess it also empowers small farmers. So even smallholder farmers can access international lenders and markets. Um, it reduces risks. So the blockchain ensures that loans, trades, and transactions are secure and verifiable by anyone. So anyone can just go and check transaction history and can verify that everything that's going on here is um, legit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, one thing, it encourages innovation. So, like what we've done at Investa Farm, we've created like a new way of trading and investing and just supporting agriculture globally. So, if you are someone who has a passion for um, what can we, let's just use tea planting, and you live in America, you can actually you can actually lend some money to a farmer in Limuru, and you'll benefit from that because you've supported that agricultural practice or that business.
So it's like a
Yeah.
VC-ish, but in the farming industry. So I'm a VC.
Mm.
Like me, I'm usually inclined to probably poultry farming a lot, but maybe I don't have time for
Mm.
that. So you mean I can map out, go to Investa Farm, check out farmers, find one that does some
Mm.
poultry farming, then I can issue them some digital loan,
Mm.
or I don't know, but yeah, I can just invest in them. Then I'm also now part owner of the poultry. Is that correct? And just
Yeah, something like that. Mm.
yeah, just on the topic, what is really the niche of Investa Farm that they're doing,
Mhm.
that is probably new in agriculture and blockchain, that if maybe someone meets you and asks you what is the biggest thing that Investa Farm is probably doing different, or maybe they innovated, uh, how would you
Oh,
probably
yeah.
answer me?
Mm. Yeah. So I had mentioned it. I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but we are our goal is to make like the blockchain more of a household name and more understandable even by a farmer uh, um, in the most rural areas in Africa or in Kenya, because we realized that farming is, I would say, is the backbone of many African economies. Agriculture, I mean, agriculture is a backbone of many African economies, and there are millions of farmers across Africa. So we noticed that one issue that smallholder farmers were facing is that uh, there was an issue with access to financing so that they could uh, do their business and just get the money to support their farming practices. So we also noticed that there's an increasingly high uh, adoption of digital currencies around the world, and there are people with billions of or millions of dollars worth of cryptocurrencies just seated or just lying in their wallets. So most people don't know what to do with their crypto. Some people will trade, but I guess trading also needs a lot of
Yeah,
a lot of expertise. Yeah,
they're using
because
them to
you
buy
might,
meme coins.
yeah. So yeah. So I think there's one. I don't know if it's for the Talk Tour girl, the Talk Tour podcast. I don't know what happened to it, but yeah. So it's, I would say it's a very unpredictable market. So it's more like, I don't know if I should call it gambling, because you never really know how the markets will behave unless you're an expert. So what we're doing at InvestaFarm is we are trying to give you more of a sure way of earning returns. So with InvestaFarm, you'll just lend your digital currencies or your stable coins to the farmers, and then the farmers will pay them back with interest. And if the farmer actually defaults, you'll still get back your money, because we're also introducing insurance to that. So you don't really you don't really experience a loss. So um, yeah, so that's a benefit to the cryptocurrency holders, and then the farmers, they get access to financing. So I would say that's something that we're doing differently. Yeah.
Yeah, and they actually tokenized their assets. So if they default, you
Mm.
can just sell their assets.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like I need to do like a very fast speed run to probably a farmer that is listening on the magnitude of the importance of smart contracts in agriculture. So this one will also add some points to why Investa Farm is super relevant, just besides bringing liquidity for farmers. That so now maybe the techies will enjoy this. If you are a smart contracts in agriculture, they help in a lot of ways. Number one is like Joe said, there is automated transactions, no middleman. Like, yeah, give me your tomatoes, I go and sell for 100 bob, I'll give you 70 bob. So smart contracts can automate payments for agricultural produce based on the predefined conditions like quality, quantity, or delivery time. So you just code all these. So this one you have to really have a really smart developer, like the guys in Investa Farm. They write for you automated transactions. So yeah, it just speeds up payments and ensures timely transactions. If you've grown in rural villages, if probably you're selling milk, I usually see, or I saw, the people collecting the milk to take to big dairies that they pay you after 1 week. So such things, smart contracts can eliminate them. So you get your money instantly. Traceability and transparency. So now that one is now purely on the blockchain. You can track produce from farm to consumer depending on the smart contracts that you've written. There's so many advantages like insurance and risk management, using index-based smart contracts, supply chain optimization, quality assurance, and even the biggest one that we've been talking about throughout the episode, that is the access to finance. Yeah, farmers can use smart contracts to tokenize their assets. That one we've talked about like the entirety of the episode. Then reduction of fraud. This is possible through the immutable nature of blockchains records. So maybe I have a farm, I have 10 cows. Each cow produces 40 liters of milk. Everything is, I have built a really smart data recording system. So I know that every day my 10 cows times 40 liters is 400 liters. But if you're doing it the traditional way, the people you employ may alter this. They can write 32 liters, stuff like 320 liters. So you see you've lost like 80 liters. But through smart contracts, you can really reduce fraud in agriculture. And we also talked about the global trade facilitation, where it can smart contracts may, simplify international trade by automating a lot of stuff. There are so many advantages, but maybe we can just stop there for now. And yeah, maybe Joe, I think we have so much to talk about, but we don't want to make the episode super long. So maybe some final words and what Investa Farm are planning for their, should I call them clients, and possible new clients in the future. What should we look forward to?
Yeah, so as I mentioned,
And also, just to interrupt you, I hope what I talked about smart contracts is true to most of your goals, like the importance of smart contracts and agriculture. Yeah, you can go ahead. Sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah, no worries. So final remarks. We are doing some amazing things here at Investa Farm. and we are learning as we are moving, and we're enjoying the journey. Yeah. So some things that we're planning, uh, we are looking forward to the adoption of the iFarm token or the new year. We'd want it to be used so that will be used as we had intended it, as collateral, and even as we've explained it throughout the podcast. There's so many different ways that you can use the token, and we want to see it grow. Uh, Probably for you to stay updated on any new on, let's say, any new updates. Um, I'd probably ask you to follow our LinkedIn, follow us on LinkedIn, so you can search InvestaFarm on Twitter, InvestaFarm on Instagram, InvestaFarm. Our website is www.investafarm.com. There you'll actually get to interact with the product. I hope it's still live, but if it's not, you can just join the wait list, and then you'll just be notified when we are live. Yeah.
So there you have it. I'll also post the links to InvestaFarm socials so that we can check them out and learn about InvestaFarm and probably follow most of their works. They're always on their toes, doing a lot of activities, going to all these expos, trying as much as possible to talk to farmers or interested people. By the way, do you go to, I don't know if it's still a thing nowadays. It used to be called showground something, agricultural showground. I'm not sure what it's called nowadays. Have you gone to one?
Yeah, we've actually been. We've been to a few. I went to one this year. They usually held like annually. Yeah, I've been to one this year. I've been to so many events. I've lost count, but yes, we there. Yeah.
I think that one has like your target audience. And do you probably plan to partner with let me just call them traditional farming institutions like these farming circles, or I don't know, just anything that, not anything, but most of these people that deal with farmers, like the lenders, the circles, and who else might be relevant to farmers? Do you plan or have you partnered with some of these institutions or individuals?
Yeah. Yes. We actually in the process of establishing some partnerships with some circles that deal with farmers, even farming groups, because that's how we usually do our the trainings. So we like to approach them in groups, and then we train them and tell them about Investa Farm and what they stand to gain from it. We are also working on also partnering with, I don't know how to describe it, but once the farmer has been given the loan, and then they've bought the product, the farm inputs, they've planted, and now they want to sell. We are exploring different ways that we can have their products, have a ready market for their products, so that they can be able to sell and then get the money to pay back the loans. So we're not just giving them the loans. We want to walk through the whole journey with the farmer and make sure that there's a ready market for the farmer as well. Yeah, so we are connecting them to people who actually need their output, I guess, the farm, whatever they've planted and harvested.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
meaningful conversation. I don't think we can exhaust everything for now. I've talked to Steve. Steve is one of your uh, original founders. Should I call him founders? Yeah, I also
Mm.
met him in a blockchain conference somewhere. We had like this short snippet about Investa Farm. If you are not a fan of the long version, you can listen to the version we did with Steve. It's also very informative. And yeah, I'm always happy to engage with you. I think we still have a long way to go, both as
Mm.
now like edtech way of educating farmers about blockchain and crypto. Then there is you who is facilitating the linkage between the farmers and uh, the blockchain liquidity and all that stuff. So every day everything is evolving. Like right now, there is a lot of stuff going on, and we need to keep up to date. But the most important part is just to abstract all this noise for the everyday user. So it's upon Investa Farm, upon your own research labs, and anyone out there who is super knowledgeable. But for now, I guess we will end the conversation here. Maybe, yeah, remember to follow us at DYORLabz with a Z, LABZ. Follow Investa Farm in all their social media platforms, and we will, we will have meaningful conversations. I think we're planning to have like continuous kinds of conversations and even educative forms for the farmers or even interested parties. So maybe final words from Joe, then we can just let me use the term pause the episode so that we can have another one in the near future.
Uh, yeah. It's been a pleasure being here. You've been an amazing host. Yeah, definitely, guys, follow the YOR Labs. Um, he publishes some amazing content. I'm usually there listening.
Yeah.
So, and I get to learn a lot about the blockchain as well. So it's been a pleasure, and I hope you guys will learn a lot from this episode. Yeah.
Yeah, feel free to engage in the social media. Just follow up questions and anything else you'd like to share. Otherwise, I think it's festive season, so enjoy your Christmas and see you in the next year. Adios.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot to mention none of this is financial advice. So, yeah, please do your own research. Tokenization is risky, crypto is risky. Always do your own research or ask knowledgeable people like Joe or me for not financial advice but for pointers and materials to do your own research. Yeah, yeah. So, goodbye and see you in the next episode.